Welcome back, everyone. Here we are on this side of the tunnel. Look, I'm in the middle of the screen today because we have all four of our wonderful players all the way around me on either side. I feel like I'm surrounded, but in the best possible way by the most lovely people. We're back with another episode of Defiant and all of these beautiful folks. We are playing a system once again by our friends at Game Machinery, who are sponsoring us this year, and it is a really cool system. We'll get into that again just in a minute, but for now, I'm going to do a little sponsor command in the chat so I can remember who all our sponsors are this season. So we give special thanks to Snowhaven, which is a new campaign setting, a new system that is in the middle of an icy wasteland. We give thanks to our friends at Modifius. Modifius, publishers of things like Kids on Bikes and the Dishonored role-playing game and Star Trek and all sorts of cool systems over there. Axon Punk, which you can see on Thursday nights here on Encounter Roleplay. The Zweihander system and their new Kickstarter Flames of Freedom, which is totally funded and I can't wait for it and I'm foaming at the mouth. I Hunt, another show that you can find here on Encounter Roleplay. And of course Defiant, who are our creators for this game. We're excited to have them. Everyone who's with us on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and all that. There. Cast, how are you today? How is everyone doing? Oh, that's great. Hey, Val, we're so glad that you're here with us. So we're going to go around. Cass, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves and tell us what your pronouns are, and then tell us a little bit, just a little tiny bit about the character that you're playing. And we'll start with Val, because Val, we're glad that you're here, and we hope that Extra Life Kids are awesome, and you saved all the extra lives.
I think
Did you
so.
do it?
I have extra life dice to prove it. Hey.
It's a sign.
Okay. Hey everyone. I go by Valdriff on the internet. I'm also known as Rosie Raid. I am she, her. Today I bring to you Miles. He is a angel, so I'm rounding out the four here. And he's kind of imagine like a 90s rock star burnout that is in charge of preserving culture before the event.
So he wants to keep the past alive, but also he also wants to rock.
He always wants to rock. Like he just turned a cathedral into a concert hall on campus. So
that's fantastic. Awesome. Let's go around to the other side and we'll check in with our friend Ray with the brick. Ray, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, honestly. I'm really excited for today. I'm with the brick or Ray on the interwebs. I go by she, they, and I play Monmurai, who is the Deva. She goes by she, they as well. She's basically if like Morgana and Morticia Adams just kind of had a baby, and then there was a god that was born inside of them. So that's
God
basically
baby.
what she is. Yeah, god baby. No biggie. But yeah, really excited. I'm nervous for my wife. That's about it.
Yeah, we're all nervous for our spouses, and we'll get into that in a moment too. But first, speaking of god babies, it's our friend Mama Cadence. Cadence, down there with the beautiful horns. How are you?
I am wonderful. Glad to be back with some of my favorite people and ready to hit the road running. I am Magdalene Bloom on the Twitter, and I play Visar, a lovely Leviathan. And yeah,
A lovely
there's
Leviathan.
things happening.
There are things happening, which will continue to happen this time. And of course, on the other side, we have our friend Hull, Bubbly Cream Soda. Hull, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Hull, but in this game I play Ruben. He is an infernal who is the head of a court of newcomers and is trying his best every day.
Aren't we all? What does it say about the like even during the apocalypse, we're all just trying our best. You know, we're all just trying to survive out here. Great. And of course, I'm Doc Rimbo. I am your GM. I use he, him pronouns or they, them pronouns. Let us enter into the world of Defiant. We are in the city of New Zawara. Short version is New Zawara was sort of a functional city on the east coast of North America up until, you know, everything in our world happened and it sort of sunk beneath the radar, closing factories, things like that. Then, fortunately, it was saved. Well, not really saved, but it was brought around by the apocalypse. During the apocalypse, the forces that be summoned different creatures to bring an end to the world. Angels, Leviathan beasts, Deva, which are like demigods sleeping inside of human beings. Even infernals, demons from hell, escaped to try and bring wreckage to the earth. But some of those beings said no, and we call those beings the Defiant. Instead, they opened up the power of these seals called Sephiroth or Sephira to create force fields, protective bubbles around major cities around the world. And in those cities, they are host to a safe haven for creatures like them, but also human beings who walk around sort of enthralled by this thing called the carnival, unaware that the apocalypse is still happening right outside and is always trying to break in. Last time, we met 3 of our characters. They introduced us to their courts because each of them is a minor lord or lady in the city of Nozawara. Each of them has authority over a certain group of people, but also have to pay homage to other people. Well, not people, but Defiant, demigods, and powerful beings. So we met their courts. We had a look at some of the minor problems that they have in running holdings and running safe strongholds and businesses throughout the city. We met their spouses. And spouses, marriages in this world are political in nature many times, but there's also some possible love going on too between these characters and their spouses. One of the people we met who was outside of this group was the daughter of the local Princepsa, and her name was Denethea. And Denethea is a young Defiant who has recently only awakened to this new body, and she is kind of going at it pretty hard and attending a lot of parties, having a lot of experimentation. But she had a birthday party, and this birthday party was at the club hosted by Monmurai and her court. And at this party, we met the Princepsa herself, Denethea's mother, a mourning woman, sad because she lost her husband a while back, and has since started handing out laws. The first one being that love brings nothing but despair, and so people should endeavor to have as many partners, both romantic and sexual, as they would like. People are encouraged to do this. But during the party, a new law came down, and that law is nobody, no Defiant, shall be seen in public interacting with their spouse. And that's sort of where we left it. This was about a week ago. Since then, the temperature in the city has dropped to below 0. Even for supernatural beings, walking outside is not particularly comfortable. It's bitterly cold. For people like Ruben, who used to live in hell, it's a big shift in temperature. For people like Vasar, who has draconic blood, maybe not so pleasant. But we open today meeting someone new, and that's our new friend Miles. So, Val, tell me a little bit first about the holding, the property that Miles runs, and what it looks like. And use as much detail as you want.
Right. So the holding that Miles runs along with his spouse is the sort of it's a university. It is
Okay.
called um, I will butcher this name. Saint
Unusual name.
yeah. Forca Balsara University. And if anyone knows any music history, you'll get it. uh, Hi, it's Freddie Mercury's real name. Um, so
Gosh,
that
that's great.
is the name of the university.
Freddie
He
Mercury
chose the name.
University. Got it.
Yes,
Nice.
but it's like his native name, right? Is um,
Excellent.
so that's he runs it with his spouse. Like his spouse is the dean, whereas like Miles is just sort of like in charge of uh, making sure that people behave themselves essentially. He's there. His house provides the money for it, where her house provides the like actual work. If that, so he just sort of, it's almost like his playground. Um, as far as the way he looks, he is. Um, think about if like you had Tommy Lee from the '90s and um, just your typical burnout '90s rock star, like just very, very, very thin, unwashed hair that is kind of long-ish right here, covered in tattoos, particularly on like his arms. He'll have like these wings that go from his wrist to his elbow. Instead of like having wings on his back, he has like these things that go from his wrist to his elbow. Um, and the cool thing is, because he's an angel, like I imagine like his eyes, he has these big golden eyes, but as far as his pupils go, like his pupils aren't black. They're just like a slightly darker version of his iris, that almost gradients into it. And he's usually smoking um, of an unknown substance. It's different every day. And since it's cold, over his black tank top and black skinny jeans and combat boots, he just has the largest fur coat imaginable. I cannot hear you. Yeah. Oh,
Any better? Okay.
yes. You did
Oh,
it.
good, good, good. Great. So
Mm-hmm.
he's wearing this fur coat, which I assume that he got at some sort of thrift store.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great, great,
It's
great.
99 cents.
Um, and when we sort of like come in to Freddie Mercury University, because I'll forget the real name of it,
Yeah.
and I will always call it that. And when
Mhm.
we sort of have this sky shot panning over the campus, where is he, and what's he doing?
So today he is probably sitting on the steps of this cathedral. It used to be in this city, that he sort of just, instead of like, because the way that he worships, instead of like worshiping, it's now turned into sort of like a music hall, because the acoustics are great.
Yeah,
um,
they are.
so he's just sort of like sitting on the steps. It's probably like, what time of day is it? You would say
I don't know, mid-afternoon.
mid-afternoon. Yeah, he just woke up. And he's got a tobacco cigarette in his mouth and just giving it this long drag. He's not particularly waiting for anyone or anything, but forgot if he had a class today to teach on the history of rock and roll. But he shows up on the steps just in case he forgot what day it was, which is today.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, so he showed up anyway, just in case he has a class.
Mhm.
Expect someone to tell him. Now, in this world, he's also a lord. I don't know if he
Mhm.
sees himself that way, but he has authority over a court. And so, what would his court look like? How would you describe it? How is it sort of set up?
Yeah. his court is set up of a bunch of idiots.
Okay.
Like they're all very good-natured people who are all kind of like behind him with what he wants to like do. Like for him, it's just like, you know, he admired human art so much that he wanted to just preserve it. And so his court is all about helping him with that. There's a lot of naivety. A lot of them are made up of his adopted children. He's adopted angels, devas, infernals. I think that's what they're called. Just, and even just humans. Like he just, so they're probably made up of of those people. And they're there to pretty much do his beck and call, which sometimes is at odds with the houses because there's his house that is like, yeah, totally preserved, just like art and culture, and like his wife's house is all like, hey, we have to like maybe save books. Um, and so
Yeah.
he's got to have like at least some people in his ear that are just like, we should put some Socrates or something in like in this stuff that we're saving, please.
I'm getting a big Bill and Ted energy from
A
Miles.
little bit, yeah, a little
Okay,
bit, a little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. All right, so he has this court made up of. I won't be as mean to say they're idiots, but they're not. I
Okay,
mean, you know. I mean,
naive,
they're not the
naive children.
not the
We'll say.
they're not the top. They're not top of the class either.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no, no, no. He picked them
okay,
out of
great.
love.
I love it. Okay. Um, now, is there a certain member of his court that he currently has? I'm going to change this so you're him now. You're Miles. Is there a
Okay.
certain member of your court, either a courtier or a spouse, that has his attention mentally, that he's thinking about? Maybe they have a problem or something like that.
It would be his youngest adopted son, Royce. Who's probably around. He's a 19-year-old.
Did we have his name? What's his name?
Royce. I'll type
Royce.
it into
Got it. I missed it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. He's
He's
19.
a very young
what's he
Deva child.
Okay. Now, Deva, like Monmurai, all have an animal that they're associated with. What animal is Royce associated with?
A rat.
A rat. Royce rat. I love it. And why is he demanding Miles's attention? Why does Miles have him on his mind?
He's the youngest of his adopted children, so he's got like he just. I'll put it to you this way. Let's say he's the second youngest. And Royce has
Okay.
recently taken another child on his wing, and Royce is used to being the baby. So he is
And what
sort
sort of
of
things
a
has Royce
little
been
bit
doing?
jealous.
Has he been acting out?
He hasn't been showing to court.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What
Or
do
showing
you
up
think
late.
Miles? What do you think Miles suspects that he's doing?
Sleeping.
Okay, so we're gonna start. We're gonna make a challenge,
Mhm.
and this is just sort of to determine what the reality of this situation is. Okay, so this is called a court challenge because it has to do with your relationship with the court. So everyone starts with 3d6s in this system. I don't even know why I have dice out. I don't really roll at all in this game, but everyone starts out with 3d6s. Now, if there's something within your character traits that you get from your origin trait or your personal traits, for example, that could increase one of those die, you can name it here and it would change one of those d6s to a d8. You can do that
Okay.
until all of them are d8s, and then if you have more, you can change one of those d8s to a d10, and so on. We call it potential, is what they call it.
Okay.
Do you
His
have any
traits
trait
are
that make him
Huh?
a good adoptive daddy? Do you have any
Uh,
traits that
his
would
tr-
apply?
his traits are creative, tempting urges, and the unique trait is father figure.
Okay, I like that. So the father figure, definitely. Um, I think that he probably has some more traits that we should flesh out at some point, probably
Yeah.
from his personal trait set. But let's say for
Possibly.
now,
I
we're
mean,
going
these
to.
are just his art, like his house traits.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, cool. Because he's
Or
an
his
ardent.
portraits.
Okay, great. So let's change one of those to a D8 for sure. And
Okay.
you can roll me 1d8 and 2d6, and you're looking for a 5 or a 6 for a single success. For every 5 or 6, it's a success.
Okay.
It sounds so good. I hear the click-clacks.
I got a 5 on my D8.
Okay, great. Did you have any other
Mhm.
5s or 6s?
No.
Okay. Did you have any 1s?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First, take that character sheet, or just make a note to yourself,
Mhm.
and you're going to mark 1 on your trouble tracker for that 1, which sort of signifies trouble building for your character. But you did get 1 success, and 1 success in this game it's kind of like, it's okay. Like, it's
Yeah.
success by the very letter of the definition. But it's not by any means what you want. So we're going to say that this day, as Miles is sitting on the steps of the cathedral, waiting for his court members to arrive, one by one they all show up. I'm imagining a lot of them are younger, just because that's how Miles rolls. He likes to be this sort of father figure. Some of them might even be students, but they are, like you said, some of them Deva, some Leviathan, some Infernal. And they all start filing in one by one, and Royce doesn't show. So you sort of hold court with all these folks. You're trying to sort of get them all on the same page about your goals that you want to accomplish in terms of, I don't know what your personal goals or endeavors are, but maybe starting this club up in a good way.
Right now, we have to find the entire collection of the Goo Goo Dolls. Like, that's what's going on. Like, we are missing the soundtrack to City of Angels right now, and we need it.
Right. So this is the impassioned speech you're giving.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the court's getting behind it. And they're like, yeah, Johnny Resnick, yeah, great, okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
And
Yeah.
they're sort of here for it. And then halfway through your big speech, as you're trying to command attention, you see a figure, you see Royce sort of walk in through the back doors, but keep a distance until you're done talking.
As soon as he walks in and keeps a distance, I'm just gonna be like, yo, son! Great for you to join us here. Why don't you, I was just talking about Johnny Resnick, why don't you come here? Because, guys, listen. This kid's got some pipes. Better than I do. And he was about this high. He really loved that music. With like the spaceships in the sky. And there was a song that Johnny Resnick sang for that. I don't know the name of it. But
Val, I love
Royce,
having you here
do.
because I feel like you could just go on forever.
I'm sorry. Like,
Nope, I love
and
it.
I'm
I
gonna
love
like,
it.
I'm gonna be like, Royce, why did you come review everyone's memory on this song for us, please?
You can't see him that well because he's sort of like in the shadow of the balcony of the cathedral, right? He's kind of in that.
Yeah.
Well, here comes my nerdery. He's in the narthex,
Okay.
and which is the entryway, and he's just sort of like wiping his nose repeatedly. He's like, no, it's good. I'm good. No, not right now, Dad. I got a cold.
Oh, that's fine. It'll just add up to like, then we don't have to auto tune you. You're fine.
Yeah, I know. Maybe later. And he turns and he walks out. And eventually, court ends. And as everyone exits, you see him lurking somewhere else. He's real good at lurking. He's got that big rat energy. and he's
he's got some big red energy.
yeah. Last week was big dragon energy. This week is big rat energy. And so he sort of sees you coming, and this time he doesn't run. And as you get closer, you see that his face is bruised. He's bleeding from his nose. He looks like he's pretty beat up.
I'm gonna like a big fur coat. Just kind of put my arm around him and hang him a Kleenex.
Thanks. He sort of
Yeah.
wipes
What's
his nose. He's like, it's fine.
Did you get in a fight with that kid that's like part of the world surfing again? Like what's going on?
No, it's fine. It was just I was just out having fun. I'm good. I'm fine, Dad.
You don't look fine.
Fine.
Going on,
And he does that thing
gotta...
where he punctuates with his body like teenagers do sometimes, and he goes, "Fun."
Yeah.
And he like
Alright,
goes smooth
alright.
on you.
All right, and just kind of like back up and put my hands up. And well, you need to look. I know I'm not the best at waking up early, which is why we hold court at 3:00 in the afternoon. But I do that for everybody's benefit, not just for me. So try to start making it on time. I did a lot of work to get you on, so some convincing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, you don't want to be
He says,
here?
"I know. No, I said
Okay.
I know, Dad." He's just sort of mumbling a little bit, and how about let's make another one? Let's make another challenge here.
Okay.
Anything you can get to, you're trying. I would imagine you can correct me here. Your goal here is to try to get him to open up a little
Yeah.
bit to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And again, given sort of traits that you have, besides being a father figure, so we know that's at least one potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anything else that would increase those die out of what your personal information is?
Not currently, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think so
Okay.
yet.
So roll me
One
that
d6.
D8 and 2d6s again.
Okay. Okay. I got a 6 on the D8 again.
Okay.
And a
Anyone?
1. Got 1.
One more trouble tracker.
Yeah.
Click. But then a
Yeah.
mild success, and yeah, he continues to have that sort of like posture of his arms crossed really tightly, and he's like, maybe I don't know, maybe I don't want to be in your court, I guess. I don't know.
You begged me.
Maybe I changed my mind.
Tell you what. Take the next one off. Go and I don't know. Go find a nice lady or dude, whatever you're into. I've never asked. Because my children's holes are in, or not my business as of right now. But just care of yourself. I'm worried because you acting kind of funny. Is this like what is this? Is 19 rat puberty? Is that what's happening here?
Oh, Dad, gross! And he storms off. At talk of puberty, apparently that was his trigger. And, we
I'm just gonna light a cigarette again.
Yeah, we end this scene by him sort of storming off and stopping and looking back. He's like, "I'll be home late. I got something tonight," and he walks away.
Okay. Arms reach.
Let's go check in with the rest of our crew to see what they've been up to. Now, this is an aspect, part of the rhythm of the game called personal challenges. So basically, it's been a week since Denethea's birthday party. Um, you've had time to work to advance your own endeavors, to try to accomplish your own goals, to rest up, to improve your holdings. And we'll go around and you can tell me what, if anything, you've done, and then we'll roll for it to see how successful you were. Okay? Let's go around the other. Let's go around, go just below Miles, and we'll check in with Ruben first. As a refresher, Hull, tell us about Ruben, what he looks like, where his holding is, and stuff like that.
Let's see. As a refresher, Ruben's holding is currently in Bridgewood Central. It is formerly a train station, now mostly a place for his court to gather and live in, for lack of a better term. Um, Ruben himself, about 6 foot, kind of a broad build, definitely an intimidating presence, whether he's been selected for his role as a leader because of that specifically, or because of something else. Not entirely sure, but he's not exactly doing bad in his position as a head of this court. Right now, his current goals have mostly just been trying to get the station back up and running as being a proper station, with at least one train going around, optimistically, all the districts in the within Bridgewood. If not, then as close as we can get, at least one other station.
Excellent. Now, has Ruben been trying to do anything with the station? Anything along those lines?
With the station itself,
Yeah.
let's see.
Or whatever. I'm asking, like, what sort of challenges has he been up to? This could be an effort to advance his endeavor, which is one of the things he's working on, is improving the station. Start a new endeavor. Change his unique trait. So it's up to you.
Let's see. I think he would probably be focusing on pushing his endeavor more, which is, I'd say, at the start of this, he had finally gotten in good with the daughter of the, let's see, Princepsa.
Yeah, I know that word,
which
right?
is,
Yeah, but yeah.
that was definitely a step in the right direction. But he also got into a very positive acquaintance with both Monmurai and Visar, respectively, which two different courts. On top of that, pretty good day, all in one go.
It's a good record. Cool. Well, let's do a challenge for it then. Okay. So we're looking to increase his endeavor, and so anything in his collection of traits that would improve his efforts towards refurbishing the public transportation system in Bridgewood.
I can think of a few. Say tireless, since he's been working on this nonstop.
Nice.
Strong-willed, since he's determined to get it done. Politics, and let's see. I'd say wise as well, from his being an executioner, or from his being a judge.
I think those all definitely apply. And what we'll do is we'll say, so that's 4 progress there. That's 4 potential. So immediately you have 3 d8s, and then one of those is now a d10. So 1 d10 and 2 d8s to see how successful you are.
All right. Let's hope for good rolls and no ones on this one.
No whammies.
3 on the d10, 5 on one of the d6, or on the d8 rather. Oh, I thought that was a 1. I thought that was a 1. It's a 7. Thank goodness.
So 2 successes. That's good news. With 2 successes, mechanically we'll say that his endeavor to remodel this train station and get it actually up and working increases by 3 steps. So you can take your Endeavor tracker there that you're using and move it forward the 3 steps. And I'm going to ask you, by our appearance or narratively, what does this look like? He's making friends with lots of folks, but how does this come into play, and what sort of progress has he made?
Let's see. I would say, aside from just, I would say some of the courtiers that work under him are probably assisting him in filling out, or at the very least, attaining and filing out different information about the respective courts that we were working along with. Likewise, his stylist Libra, they are doing their best to try and redecorate the interior of the main station itself to be a little more accommodating towards a general public instead of just us in particular.
Right. I like that. More broadly appealing to include maybe also humans and stuff along those lines. I like it. Excellent.
Possibly.
So 3 successes would have been perfect, would have been raging, but 2 successes means that there probably is some sort of complication. So what I'm going to say is, while they're doing this, there is a mistake in the number crunching, and you find that just as like they're working on this mural, right? They're going for like an Art Deco thing maybe, and they're working on this like tile mural, and they run out of tiles right before the end, and it's glaring, like it's obvious that there's a problem here. And so they estimate it's going to take you another maybe 200 human dollars 200 human dollars to finish this mural, and you're going to have to come up with that somewhere other than what you have already. So that's the little fly in the ointment there. That's the complication. But that's basically a success. Awesome. Let's go around and we'll check in with some other personal endeavors. Visar. Let me give you again an idea of what you could be doing with these personal challenges. You could be trying to improve your house standing. You could be creating a new facility in your holding. You could change some of the adjectives of your facilities. You could start a new endeavor. You could advance an endeavor you already have. Anything sound good to you, Cadence? Anything that Visar would be doing?
I think raising house standing. Since she
And
got...
remind us of, remind us of Visar's house and sort of what she looks like, because I forgot to mention that.
Visar is a Leviathan and has beautiful copper-colored horns and very fashionable, always with the top trends thanks to one of her courtiers. Live in Glen Park Avenue, which is a group of tenement houses. However, they're combined, so they're inside. It's just one holding, which contains the business half and the party half, and the fun room in the basement and other places.
Fun room in the basement. Basement fun.
Yes, thanks to Dorothea being in the fun room and our interaction during the birthday party, I've sort of worked on advancing that connection to the royal house with more parties, get-togethers with everybody I can, and also by heartbreakingly, every time Lucian and I need to leave our holding, we are not seen together. Yeah.
Such a sad, I didn't know this would be so sad. Okay, so And you said that you're trying to increase the standing of your house?
Hmm.
Is that your goal here? Okay.
Yeah.
Take a look at your traits now and let me know what is the best way for you to increase your standing. And you can be as descriptive as you want in including these into your role.
Well, of course, with the parties, it's one of my traits is having lovely wild parties
Mm-hmm.
and and having a circle of rebels, goth kids, fun people like that who attend said parties. And being aware of what's going around, how people are interacting and making sure the right people talk to the other right people.
Mm-hmm. So just throwing the best parties you can.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, so what traits would apply here?
Yeah,
Listen
the
to that party
trait
music.
would be favorite parties wild, defiant
Yep.
circle rebels, and strength
Yep.
awareness. Yep.
Great. That's 3. So that would be 3d8. And don't forget, you still have a shard left over from
Oh,
last time too. Yeah, which you can use to increase one of them
yeah,
again.
sure. I'll do
So
that.
one of
I'll
them's a
throw
d10.
it. Ha ha ha. Come on, my lovelies. Ooh, I got a 7 and 2 4s.
Okay. So that's a single
one
success.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good parties, but they're not getting the kind of traction you want. Now, when Vassar throws parties like this, are they invite only? Is there a cover charge? What are the attractions?
It probably varies depending on who she wants to attract, but mostly invite only, I would think,
Okay. Okay.
for the better
Um,
ones. But occasionally, once a week, we'll have cover charge and just open to the masses just to see
yeah,
who she can
nice.
find.
So here's the trade-off that you have with a 1 success, is that you don't really make any advancements on that larger endeavor. The invite-only ones are just sort of, you get the feeling that with this law about people not being allowed to be seen in public with their spouses, that everyone's just kind of depressed, and it's kind of messing with everybody's head. And so all the Defiant are kind of, eh. But here's what we'll say, is we hit that 20 retweet goal, okay? So something good happens, and the good thing is it's twofold. One of it is that weekly human party that you have, like where lowborns and humans can come and stuff like that, and there's a cover charge, you come away with some extra cash. Okay, so you can sort of write this trait down somewhere that you can use at some point, is that you've got some extra walking around money that you can do with as you want and use as a tool. The other bonus is that at one of those invite-only parties, you get a visit from Reveal Zeruel. And if you'll remember from last time, this is the first ward of the Princepsa. This is her right-hand person. She is a tall, lithe woman with slicked back blonde hair and sort of an androgynous suit style of fashion going on. And when she came to your party, she was surrounded by all of these younger angels of every gender identity, and they were all dancing, and they seemed to have a really good time. Now, what that holds, you don't know, but you didn't have really much of a conversation with her. You just let them have fun, and you think that they left with a good impression.
Excellent.
So, let's jump over. One more person to check in with in terms of our personal challenges is Monmurai. Monmurai, tell me about yourself,
Hello.
your court, your spouse, hello, your teeth, everything you want to mention, and introduce everyone again to Mom.
All right. So as we were talking about with Miles's adopted son, the Deva have basically a Patronus, an animal that they embody. Monmurai's is a bat. So she's got very elongated features. Her hair is very long and straight. Her body itself, she's very tall. She's like 5'11", 5'12", and with heels over 6 foot. Very just like thin and kind of like almost vampire-esque, to be very straightforward. She looks kind of like a walking vampire. Her court is of absolute devotion. They are devoted to her and only her, and actually kind of don't really like anybody else. Don't like associating with other people. So she makes sure that everybody is always doing the thing that they need to be doing and doing it at the right time. She's very precise with everything that she does. And yeah, so speaking of the holding, so I have, it's called Odyssey Club, but I have revamped it into Sinister, which is a speakeasy. So one of the rooms I have in my holding, I labeled it as the mysterious back room. And I think as like my endeavor, I would like to turn it into a secretive back room. Because of the new law that happened and everything, I want a secret room where couples can go and enjoy some time by themselves.
Gosh, I really hope this works because that sounds awesome. I like
Yeah,
that.
I
So
really
this
hope
is this is illegal basically.
Yes.
You're trying to set up some sort of a room. Maybe it has like 2 different entrances.
Yeah.
So spouses
Like,
can enter separately.
yes.
Oh, yeah. I like
Yeah,
that
so basically
very.
it's gonna be symbolic. So I added a room that I forgot to put on my little sheet, but I had the guarded office, which has the secret entrance that only I know how to get into. So I basically want to do kind of the same thing. But yeah, there are 2 different entry points from either side of the speakeasy. So one is from, when you go in, you can go all the way left and back, and one is you can go all the way right and back. And they basically kind of coalesce into this long hallway and then this back room area.
I like it. Okay, so you've been working on this, getting your court together, working on this, and tell me, you know how it goes. Tell me what kind of traits you're employing to make these attempts to renovate this room successfully.
Okay, so I have discipline. So being able to get everybody to do what they need to do when.
Okay.
Charm, to make sure that everyone goes along with my illegal plan. And I think clever would also work here to make sure that I'm doing it in the most hidden and smart way.
Yeah, I like that. Clever does work in this because you're trying to think of it in a way that won't get noticed by
Yes.
the cops, the higher ups.
Yeah.
All right, so that is 3d8, and you can go ahead and give me that roll and see how many successes you get, and also note any ones you get.
Cool.
Roll.
That is just 1 success. No failures.
Okay, so with 1 success, could be better, quite a bit, but it's problematic. You're able to do this. You get this room renovated. You get the basic idea of what you want. You feel uneasy about it. You can see that with just a little bit of investigation, this could fall apart. You still feel like it's worth trying. The bigger problem is that 3 of Monmurai's courtiers, during this whole thing, it's like one of those things where you renovate your house and it's one thing after another, right? And I don't know if anybody here is a homeowner or has his own property, but like something gets fixed, and that means this has to. Anything that happens on HGTV, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's just one thing after another, and while renovating that back room, we're going to say 3 of your courtiers get injured.
Okay.
And we're going to say that that's an affliction for all 3 of them. And so I'm going to let you choose who it is, because I know you've got a
Okay.
big court. But all 3 of them are unavailable for the near future, as they're just sort of
All right.
resting up. Let's say like a beam fell on them or something like that.
Okay.
So I'll let you decide that, and you can tell me at some point. But still,
Do
you have
want
this
me to
room.
message you who they
Sure.
are?
Or,
Okay.
yeah, that's cool. If you put it in your file, also, I kind of keep an eye on that, and I could check it out too there.
Perfect.
Yep. So you have a secret room. All this. The rest of you have kind of been huddling in from the cold, but it feels extra cold, considering that you really aren't allowed to go out in public with those spouses that you care about so much. We'll go back to Miles. Actually, let's go back to everyone. Everyone gets, by personal courier, an invitation in the mail. And it is in this sort of sleek Vanta black envelope that feels like it's eating all of the light that touches it, you know what I mean? And it feels like the paper is made out of silk or something. And it smells like, yeah, it smells like something that, I mean, it's just some sort of like wood, or you can't place it. It smells awesome. You all receive these notes in the mail, and all of them are from Ariviel Zeruel, the Princepsa's first ward. She says to you, the short version of this letter is that she noticed you at Denethea's birthday party. And you all read these notes with the understanding that she's not super happy about this new law that was handed down, but she wouldn't say that outright. In not so many words, she says things like, we are of a similar disposition to recent current events, stuff like that. And she says, I'd like to invite you to a special occasion. It gives an address, and this is all within the same day as we've been living. And it says it's tonight. And it says, don't bring your spouses. It's not worth it to put forward a risk such as this. But other members of your court are welcome. Gives you an address. You've never seen this address before. It's somewhere down near the docks. You're not even sure what it's all about. Miles. In addition to receiving this letter, this invitation, you are within the cathedral one day. What's Miles doing inside the cathedral club? The Freddie Mercury University.
He's playing the piano.
You're playing the piano, and you start feeling the tempo slip away from you as the air is punctuated by the sound of multiple stiletto heels on the stone floor, all walking clack, 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 clack. And at first you think it's like a metronome, but then you sort of snap back to your senses. And you look around and
Bit much hair.
you spin. Oh, you got a spinny chair. Nice. Yeah. You spin around in your spinny piano chair, and you see approaching you, invitation in hand, is Ariviel Zeruel herself. And she's accompanied by 6 other angels. There are a few that seem to be masculine, a few that are more feminine, some mix of the two. And she approaches and says, "Special delivery?" And she sort of holds it up like between two fingers like it's a cigarette.
Ooh, I feel very special. Thank you. And I'll like do the same way with like the two fingers. I'll like look it over. So, read it over. How's life? How you doing?
Life could be better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it could be less stressful. Hey, I have something for that if you need.
She says, "I'm sure you do. But I'm all right for now. I have my own means." And she sort of looks back and forth. One of the angels in her sort of posse, one of the angels in her entourage is wandering off and playing with this old incense censer that is like hanging on one of the walls, and just it's one of those swinging ones, and she's like sort of swinging it back and forth, you know? Just like and
excuse me, that belonged to JP2. If you don't mind.
Arabiel sort of Arabiel cuts you off for name dropping the Pope, and like cuts you off and like puts her hands up, and she walks over to this young lady and grabs her physically by the ear and drags her back to the rest of the group. And she says loudly to the entire entourage, she says, "Everyone, when we're a guest in somebody else's holding, should we touch their things?" And all of them sort of reply like, no. They're all like looking down at the ground. She says, "I apologize, don't we?" And she like grabs like the ear again, and the angel's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. And she says, "That's good.
Some big mom energy you got going on there."
I'll take that as a compliment, sweetie. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Where is your lovely spouse? I mean, you are not in public. You could be together, but I don't see her anywhere. What was her name?
Hazel.
Amber?
Hazel?
Yes. Hazel, that sounds right. Redhead, right? Oh. Pretty. Where is she?
She's in her office. Probably. Last I checked. She's a very busy lady. Busier than most people here, including myself.
I don't know.
Yeah,
She says the
in her office.
creation
Why?
and preservation of art is a very important endeavor, and I consider you to be hard at work here. And she sort of walks over like to the piano and like leans against it in the right place that doesn't hurt the piano, and like sort of like gently like runs her fingers along some of the black keys and looks at you, and her wings, which she has, just sort of like stretch for a little bit, like someone popping their joints, and just sort of curl back up. And she says, "So, an invitation for you and your court? I would love your attendance tonight. There's some people I'd like to introduce you to."
You know me. I can't say no to a party. This is a party, right?
No, this
Like,
will be a
what
party.
This is?
This will
Yeah.
be a party of a sort.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you a personal question? And she's like, before she finishes the sentence, she snaps her fingers, and all of these other angels like sort of shuffle to the other side of the room so they don't hear what she's saying to you.
Yeah.
And she leans in really close, and you can like smell her, and you can, yeah, she leans in. You can feel her breath on your ear, and she says, "What do you make of this law. And be careful. I am the Princepsa's first ward. Of course, anything I say will be reported directly back to her. And she winks at you.
Well, if anyone was married to me, I wouldn't want to be seen in public with me either.
She giggles. Very good. Now, tonight you're going to be attending as my date, so I would appreciate it if you could change, she says, looking at your outfit. She's like,
I'm gonna
do
be
you
like,
have another? Do you have another set of leather pants?
of course. I have some red ones. Do you want me to wear the red ones?
Yeah, you do. How many does Miles have? Just out of character. How many pairs of leather
Out
pants
of leather
does Miles
pants? Just
Yeah.
an undescript amount.
have? The whole closet. Yeah.
Just, if you can imagine a color and a cut of leather pants, he owns them. Like, he even has bell bottoms. Let's just do it.
Cool. And she says, do you have any that are bell bottoms?
Yeah, they're
That
like...
would be cute. Wear those. That would be cute.
Okay,
She demands you wear
bright yellow
bell bottoms.
though.
Oh, never mind. No, we want to keep a low profile. Now,
I
tell
can
me,
just
Miles.
wear the standard maroon straight leg. Should I wear a collar? Like, is that something I need to do?
Well, at least a shirt, honey. I mean, there will be people there who are shirtless, but if you're going to be in my company, I would appreciate a clean shirt.
Okay, I'll try. I'll wear a shirt.
You'll try to wear a shirt?
Absolutely, I'll try to wear a shirt. I can't promise it'll be tucked in, though.
That's all I can ask. Now, before we go, I have to ask, what is, and she sort of like does that thing where she gestures to the entire cathedral. She says, what is all this? What are we doing here?
The acoustics are great, so I figured it's a really cool place to just talk about music and make music. And I got a vinyl. And why?
Nothing. That sounds nice. A conservatory. A lot of work, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
luckily,
she's like
I got at
evaluating
least,
the place, walking back and forth.
Yeah, I at least got 3 people that can handle most of the work. The others, they're young. They need a little guidance.
And as you say that, she looks back at this like group of young angels and she says, I know what that's about. Don't get me started. And she says, well, you do this for me and be my +1, my date, really, because who knows what I'll ask of you. But you be my +1, and I'll see what I can do to help you with that.
We are currently in search of the entire musical library of the Goo Goo Dolls.
And she, like, her eyes go wide, and she's like, what is a Goo Goo Doll?
It's a band from the 90s.
Oh. Okay, well, yes. I was
I got a
thinking
CD.
more
Do you want to...
I don't have a CD player.
Got one of those. Like, that's the whole point of this. You know what? I'll bring it tonight.
You do that. You bring your Goo Goo Doll CD. And,
I'll bring and the
meet me at
Walkman.
the
Just
address.
yeah.
Sure. I don't know what that is either, but all right. And she leans over and kisses him on the cheek. And says,
Flattering.
everyone, and all of these little angels all sort of like shuffle after her in their high heels and their various trendy outfits. You see a cloud of wings leaving through the back of the cathedral as they all walk away. So you've all received these invitations. And Val, what we were doing there is we're setting up this endeavor for Miles. So an endeavor is like a challenge, but it's a long-term goal that we'll be working towards throughout the season. Do you want to specify exactly what Miles wants here? Other than, like one step in the endeavor is getting the entire library of the Goo Goo Dolls. That's one of the steps. But what's his long-term goal here at the cathedral?
He wants this to be a place where people can come and also not just like learn about music and collect and view the collection, but he actually wants people who are musicians to be able to come here and play. He wants us to become an actual concert hall for people.
He wants it to be a performance venue. I got the feeling he also wants it to be like a teaching venue too, like a conservatory, but rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Cool. We're going to say this is a complex endeavor. It's not like a lifetime thing, but it's not easy either. So you'll see on your character sheet, Val, you have this thing called endeavor with a bunch of boxes next to it.
Yep.
It will take 6 boxes to complete this. And those are things you will be able to do between sessions, also in-game, as other folks have learned. So just make sure 6 of those are open. You can do whatever you want with the rest of them, and we'll work towards those one at a time. So, evening comes. This invitation says to turn up at this address somewhere after midnight, probably closer to 1 in the morning, something like that. And so anybody have anything they want to do before then, or have any reason they wouldn't want to attend this event? Okay. Great. You are taken by your personal driver, your feet, however you get there, all the way to a location within Bridgewood. It's on it's right up against the river, because Bridgewood runs up along this river. Bridgewood Boulevard, your neighborhood, is kind of the nice sort of main drag, but this is far off the main drag. And this particular location is down by the river, and it is not appealing. It has like one light hanging over the entrance, and it's got a big metal door. Doesn't quite look like a warehouse. It looks like it's in use, but you're not quite sure what's going on when you get there. But we'll say that everybody arrives kind of at the same time. Monmurai, Vessar, and Ruben, you all recognize one another. And you would all know Miles, too. You all run in the same circles as minor lords and ladies. And we gotta come up with a non-binary term, ladies. And there we go. And you all sort of show up around the same time, running into each other. And really quick, before we sort of play this scene out, huge shout to Kitchen Bratland for big crits for everybody. Everybody has a special shard they can use to unleash a personal ability or increase their roll. So thank you, Kitchen. We appreciate it. And also one for me, which I'll give to someone because I don't really roll. I'll give it to someone. Who knows? So you all sort of arrive, and those of you who are there just a few minutes earlier than the others, you don't know what to do when you're face to face with the metal door. There's no doorman to open it up for you. Yeah, and there you all are. You see one another. Everyone's sort of standing around, shuffling their feet.
You all got invited too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
I got
Just us.
personally invited.
Well then, all right. Do you have any
See
sort
Miles.
of insider knowledge then of what's going on here and why we've been called to this establishment?
And you see him pull out, and you notice it's the same paper that the invitation is made out of. He pulls it, like a sliver of it, like a nice, perfect little rectangle, and he starts to pack it with marijuana and begins to roll it. Nope. Just know that it's, tries to flick the lighter. It works. That it's a party.
It's a pass. It's a 4-person, 5-person party?
You guys don't have dates?
We were told not to bring our spouses, but we could bring anybody in our court that we wanted. I mean, he's not my date, but he is my bodyguard.
I have my court with me. All 4.
I came solo. I can't risk taking anyone with me.
Fair. And you? Have a date?
Yeah. What's your name? The one that invited us. She didn't want me to pick her up. She's just waiting here.
The Princepsa's warden is your date.
Hmm.
Interesting.
That's concerning.
Love you too,
Right.
man.
I mean,
Yeah,
Is there
probably
anything
shouldn't say that.
else for that?
I mean, you got your crew. I mean, you're rolling with your crew, right? Some of you have your court there, and they're all sort of standing there. And there's that door. It has a handle, for what it's worth.
Zamil, do you mind? My guardian.
No, not at all. Not at all. One moment. And he opens the door. And anybody who tries to enter first, he would just sort of like hold them back because Vassar should go in first, he thinks.
Very well.
And everybody files into this space that it's made out of the same brick as the outside of the building is. And it's this cramped space. So all of you like come into this dive bar and you're all kind of shoulder to shoulder. There's a wooden bar. There's nobody here except for one bartender doing the bartender stuff, like wiping down the counter and all that. There's worn out leather seats and flickering fluorescent lights. It smells like cigarettes and beer and other stuff. There's a pool table, there's a jukebox. And the bartender sort of looks up and he's like, "You got invitations?" Appears to be a lowborn infernal.
Just present it.
Right, through there. And he points to this door at the back of the room, leading who knows where. It's closed at the moment. Goes back to wiping the bar. Your ladies, your lordship, your ladies, chips. That way. Look at this, it's gonna work.
And I'll have Asmodeus kind of lead us where he points to go first.
Right. Asmodeus pulls open this other door, and as soon as he does, you feel a tide of sound and vibration coming from a stairwell. And, like, you feel it. There's a crowd somewhere down those stairs, and it sounds like cheering, but also, like, really deeply hard-hitting bass and music.
I
Hell
believe we
yeah.
found the party.
I want to ask the Infernal, Do you have one of those wristbands or stamps that says I'm a designated driver? I'm not planning on drinking tonight.
Oh, yeah, sure. And he reaches down. He's got one. It's a smiley face, and he puts it on your hand.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And one by I mean, again, this big crowd of people crammed into this dive bar funnel through this doorway and down these rickety wooden stairs that quickly, like, they go around a landing and then turn into like solid steel stairs. You know, like it gets the stairs like change in quality to mark some sort of a transition. And in the center of this large room that must be underneath the river or something is a big cage with a chain link. Inside are two leviathans who are just head to head beating the snot out of each other in combat. And all around the ring are all of these people who look like people you would never expect to see at a professional fighting event, because they're all dressed in nice fashion and fancy suits and low-cut blouses and things like that. And in the pride of place on the other side of the ring, all of you make out a reveal who gives you, like, she doesn't even make eye contact. She just makes a little, like, wave like that, knowing that you're here, to sort of welcome you overward to where she's seated.
Make haste
Mhm.
towards where she is, having Asmodeus walking straight in front of me, like
Mhm.
no eye contact with anybody else, head held high, and just making my way over
Mhm.
to her.
Excellent. You all make your way, following in the wake of Monmurai and Asmodeus, and dodge the blood and teeth flying out of the ring. And as you get closer to a reveal, you see, Miles, that same chorus, that same heavenly chorus,
Yeah.
with her in the row behind her. A host of young angels sitting there watching the fight with these big, wide eyes, and they're all sort of entranced by the violence that's going on within.
When I get to her, I'm just gonna kind of stand off to the side. I'm wearing the same fur coat, burgundy leather pants, but I'm gonna open up the fur coat, showing off a vintage Ramones t-shirt. I'd be like, just for you,
And
hon.
she says, now this band I know. And she says, here, you come and sit next to me. And she's like, sort of like pats the seat next to her. And like, yeah, as you like get comfortable, before you can even do
Yeah.
anything, she takes your arm and puts it around herself.
Ugh.
Like, she physically like does it for you, right?
This is,
And
by the way, this is a great invitation. What is this made of?
it's imported paper. It's from Peru.
Oh, you want some?
Sure. And she sort of leans forward and takes a drag off of your cigarette. She says, I don't need to tell you this is illegal, so nobody tell anybody about the fights, okay?
What fights?
And all of you know that, I mean, defiant on defiant violence is generally illegal. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not one of those things that where they'll hunt you down and persecute you. But for the most part, it's generally frowned upon. And she sort of says, now, after this fight, I think there is one with an angel from House Hariel. And she says, Miles, are you Hariel? You are. Yeah. He has to remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She says, and...
Yeah, I think
and
that's,
then,
yeah.
Good. She says, and an infernal, I think. It should be good. They're both much better than these two. And she points at the Leviathans who are just wailing on each other and taking a whole lot of damage. She says,
Hey. wouldn't say that.
So, everyone, look around and tell me what you see. She sort of gestures to the seats around the rings. And everyone except Miles notices this, because Miles doesn't have his senses attuned to it. But on the far side of the ring, seated in one of the higher up bleachers, is Denethea, the Princepsa's daughter, and she appears to be asleep. Like, her friends are all around too, but they're just watching the fights. But Denethea seems to be unconscious, in some form or another, for some reason or another, just sort of like splayed out, very unladylike. On this, she's wearing like her typical really short dress, and she's just snoring loudly, as you've seen her do before. So what do we see? Miles, you first.
I'm an insightful fellow.
Mhm.
I'm looking around for my kid.
You don't see him currently.
Apparently. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna look at the two Leviathan that are fighting. What can you tell me about them?
They are large, and you know that Defiant come in all shapes and sizes. Just because you're an angel doesn't mean you're mundanely gorgeous. You know, like what most people would think of as beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, beauty comes in all forms, and but these two are they're muscly. They are like 5 feet in every direction. You know what I mean? They're just big boys, and they're going at it one-on-one, but nothing that strikes you as unusual.
I'm gonna kind of tilt my head to my date. So is it just Leviathan knocking heads, or you got other specials? And where's the betting pool?
Oh, and she sort of snaps her fingers, and one of the angels behind her sort of leans forward and says, "Want to place a bet?"
Yeah, and I pull out a sack, and it's full of Canadian toonies. And
where did he get them? We will never answer this question. Go ahead.
Never answer this question. Just Canadian toonies, and I will hand it over to this angel. It's like, I didn't count it. It's like maybe $80 Canadian, which is like 60 American. I'm not sure. But
On whom?
just put it on eeny, meeny, miny, that one, and I point to the right.
Okay. Cool. Here's what we're gonna do, Val. Okay, as the rest of this fight proceeds, what we're going to do is I won't ask you to roll for it, okay? But as a mechanic in this game, everybody starts with 5 shards, right? Which are your like power unlockable things. You all have 6 currently, because you've got that D20 sitting up there next to you. If you want to spend a shard to basically increase your luck, and we'll say that you win that bet.
Heck yeah.
It's just 2 to 1 odd. So if you want to cross off one of your shards as being used, that way you do get your toonies back plus a stack of gross American money, right? Like, and not fun sounding American currency. And like as the angel assistant after the fight hands you this money back, she hands you the stack of like paper dollars, the American dollars, and it was a personal shard that Val used there. And so she's sort of like, she's like, human money is really funny. look at this. And she's like waving it up and down. Like, it's just like, it's paper. It's paper. Like, why? And she like hands it back to you.
And I take it back. I take it, and it's like things not made out of paper also flop around like that. And I will.
That's a good point. And like, and as she's like having this conversation with you, Arivia like turns and like gives her a look, and she sits back down. And at that, she turns to everybody in the group, and she says, "Do you know what my job is? As first ward, anyone? Okay.
You protect the Princepsa.
Yes, in part." She says, "There's plenty of people who, of course, do that, but now normally it would be the Princepsa's duty to bring up wards in her stead. It's a great honor to be a ward in her household. Isn't that right, everyone?" And all of the angels say yes in unison. And she says, "But of course the Princepsa is waylaid with grief these past several months. And so unfortunately, she cannot handle such a task. And so it falls to me to raise these wards. Now, I'm going to ask the rest of you. Miles, you just watch the next fight and enjoy." And she like pats you like a dog. She just like pats him. And she says, "Everybody else, do you see anyone around this ring that could stand to have some guidance in her life?"
Oh, yes.
I have a challenge for
Maybe
each
one.
of you. You could, you combine your efforts if you like. It makes no difference to me. You could work alone. I'd like you to convince young Miss Denethea to join my consorts. It'll take some work, but with any luck, she won't embarrass herself or the Princepsa any further with these revelries. Not that there's anything wrong with going out and enjoying oneself, but falling asleep on a bench, it's a bit embarrassing, no?
It's definitely not very seemly for one as high status as she is supposed to be.
Unseemly is a good way to put it. So, I'll leave you to it. Go and speak to her yourselves, whichever way you like. I'm going to stay here with Miles, and we're going to watch the rest of the fight, aren't we? And she puts her hand on his crotch. Like,
Oh!
terms of service. Like, just she's very aggressive and very forward.
Warning about. This is why I wear cups.
Oh, sorry, I missed. Yeah, it was a power move, that's for sure. So how does everyone else approach Denethea? I don't know if Denethea is a fan favorite of this show after one episode, but she's my favorite. So she's back. And she's asleep on a bench at a secret underground fight club with her skirt riding up, and she's probably drooling as she sleeps.
And how she can sleep through all this.
It's amazing, right? I wish. I'm going to let all of you decide how you're going to approach this. I'm going to take a quick bio break. And I'm not even going to know. So you all discuss, chat, you help them, let them know. And when I come back, I want a decision. Here we go.
I
All right,
immediately
then.
turn to the Tsar. You seem to have some sort of relationship with that one, more so than the other two of us. Do you have any sort of idea on how we get through to that one?
Oh, gosh. She's such a child. She's vapid and does not think, and gosh, I don't. I've never had to deal with such a child before. Reuben, any?
Any idea?
Well, she's peak Valley Girl, that's for certain. Which is a language I don't speak. I think we just have to play to her ego until she at least sobers up, and who knows what she's like then. Maybe a little more, I don't know, tolerable.
I do have some sort of personal power that I could probably put her under if things go absolute terribly, but I think we should try and reason with her as a person first. Might make it a little bit more personal and emotional. Seems as if nothing else will really get to her except for some hard cold facts. And if those don't work, maybe we can play good Defiant, bad Defiant. And see which one wins over her.
I was almost thinking we could lower ourselves a bit to her level of age, if you will, and act more buddy. Connect with her that way.
It's not
Oh,
a
that would
terrible
be
idea.
difficult.
I don't think it would be quite difficult. I think we all could act quite like that without meaning it. However, at what point does she come back around to being on our side and completely revolting against what she's doing? Because that's what we're asking her to do.
Right.
Reuben, you seem pretty disciplined. Do you have any idea on how we could see her eye to eye without stooping quite to the level that she's at?
Fear. Threats. Possibly solitary
Monmurai
confinement.
absolutely chuckles. Yeah, Monmurai absolutely chuckles when you say fear.
I think all in all, the best way to get to her, or to get her to listen, I don't know that she could respond to discipline. How do you discipline someone who's just been given everything she needs, or wants, rather?
Oh, there's
And
many
honestly,
ways. I can totally see that.
And Ruben kind of leans into Monmurai and Vasara and says, plus looking at her, she kind of seems like she'd be into discipline.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That she is.
Well, like I said, I have a little bit of an influence thing I can do over her if things don't go our way, and she's absolutely revolted by the thought, but I think maybe a little bit of fear incited by Reuben and some rationality incited by Vasar. Maybe we could make this work.
Okay, so you have the beginnings of a plan here. How do you proceed?
I look towards the both of you.
I don't think I should open up with roughhousing. Vasar, what do you think?
I think maybe we should take her to a quieter place, out of sight of so many eyes, for one thing.
Almost as
When
if
I
I'm
look
kidding.
around,
Yeah, no,
I was
you
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
if I look around, you said she's on a separate level. Do I see
Yeah, she's
anything
higher
else
up
that
in the
looks
bleachers.
okay? Do I
They look
see
like high
anything
school
that
gymnasium bleachers.
yeah? Do I see anything that looks like there's bouncers standing outside of what could be a private VIP room, or anything that looks like swanky? So we're not taking her into like a weird kind of like corner room where nobody's partying or hanging out. So we kind of just like lead her into a softer spoken area of wherever we are.
there, as much as like this is nicer than the pub upstairs, there's not really a VIP area. You all sort of get the feeling from looking around that this is the VIP area, just to be invited to a place like this. But almost as if on cue, as you're like having these thoughts, she wakes up and sort of like Anna from the beginning of Anna from the beginning of Frozen, like she's just like her hair is all crazy and she's got this thing of drool coming down her face, and she like looks around and she like gets up and she says something to her friends, and she does her stiletto stumble like down the bleachers, and like one of her wings is out but it's like kind of funky. You know what I mean? Like some of the feathers are a little bit askew, and she heads towards a back section where you see behind the bleachers there appears to be some restrooms back there, and so she sort of stumbles away from the crowd, and she's by herself currently.
That's our cue.
I'd say so. Might as well go after her quick.
So you all sort of try and give chase. Meanwhile, the second fight is beginning, and first comes out an Infernal who he's already pumped up. So Infernals, when they get excited, as Ruben knows, they've got these scars on their bodies, and these scars that this guy has are all across his chest, and they all start to like throb and glow, and like he is physically very fit and has a shaved head and is just like he's getting all psyched up. And then when the second person comes out, Miles, you see that Royce is making his way to the ring in a pair of ratty gym shorts with his hands all taped up, still bearing the marks on his face of whatever he did last night, and he's climbing into the ring. Do you do anything right away?
I am going to stand up and just like give like one of those very triumphant "Woohoo! That's my boy!" and like dad embarrass him as he's going into this ring.
Sweet.
And like
you don't even have to roll for that because it's so powerful. Dad embarrassment achieved. Like he he sees you do this, and like he stops on his way to the ring and realizes that you're there, and like and then sort of like tries to get refocused and like climbs into the ring as they start the fight. Can
I lock eyes with the Infernal that's fighting him? Like,
sure.
Can I give him a...
Now, would you like to make a challenge roll here? Are you trying to physically like intimidate him to give your son a better chance?
Yes.
We're going to say this is also an endeavor. This is a minor endeavor because it won't be as easy as like one roll for your son to win this match, but this is a 3-square endeavor. Cool?
Okay.
So we'll have 3 different challenges that will come up, and you have to get all 3 done for your son to win this match. But here's the first one: is you're trying to psych out his opponent.
Mm-hmm. So
let's look again at your traits here. We need to get the rest of your traits sorted out, but here's what we'll see. Is that creative, tempting, urges. Now he does have that unique trait of being a protective father figure.
Mm-hmm.
So we could say that counts. I would like to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Val, I'm just going to toss this out because we're just sort of flying with it here, is that one of his personal themes from the ones that are given is probably the guide, which is a teacher or a trainer or a role model, right? Because, I mean, that's what he does.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so of those, you could choose a field for him, which I'm guessing is music, right? Mm-hmm. So that probably doesn't count. You could choose also a focus for him, whether it's having control, being perceptive, being deceptive, being, one of them it says grandeur, but I would also say like exuding power could be a focus, right? Authority could be a focus.
Yeah, let's I was gonna even just think about perceptive, just because,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna argue this in the perceptive of how
Sure.
to read people and their movements so easily.
I like it. I like it. So
Mm,
you were trying to get a read on this guy and get inside his head, and yeah, I'll say you can
yeah.
use perceptive there to add another
Okay.
d8. And then the final
Good.
thing that a trait that comes from the guide theme is that you have a reputation as a leader,
Mm,
as a teacher. Can you
mhm.
think of a way to describe his reputation that would help you here, that we can make a part of this character?
Miles's
Is he?
reputation would be someone who is, he has like this very this surface persona of his, but
Mhm.
because he's so protective of the family he has made himself, that if
Oh,
something bad happens to them, something
he's a
bad
mother hen.
happens to you.
He's a
Yeah.
daddy bear.
Or mama
Yeah,
bear even.
cool.
Yeah.
Right, 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 right.
Like there's, I do have an independent agent in my courts. So,
Interesting.
uh
I like that. So let's add that
yeah.
too. So that means you're going to roll this
Mhm.
first endeavor challenge with 3d8 because you've upgraded each of them
Nice.
once.
Let's do
So
it. Mhm.
roll 3d8, and we're looking for successes here.
All right. Come on, Daddy, get it. All right, so
Get it,
that's
Daddy.
1 8.
Oh, great.
And no failures.
No failures. What were the other
Mhm.
two? They were like sixes and fives
4
and,
and 2.
and sevens. Oh, a four and a
Yeah,
two.
4 and
Okay,
2.
great. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's one success. We'll say more than anything, this guy is confused because here's this
Mm-hmm.
guy in the front row next to the first ward making eyes
Okay.
at him, right? And like doing the whole like threatening eyes thing. So we'll say
Mm-hmm.
that you get a success, but also it's not quite as pronounced as you'd like. And as you like stand up to do that, Arivia like grabs you by the waistband and sits you back down,
Ugh,
uh, which
it's my
kind of doesn't
boy.
help the situation.
Yeah.
Right. She says, "Yes." She says, "Oh, really? I didn't know." She did know. Let's go back
Yeah.
over to the bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom. And
Real quick,
the
sorry,
rest of
real
you are
quick.
making
Do
your
I
way.
rate?
Yes.
Yeah. Do I
So it's a
put that
3-7 endeavor.
success?
It
Yeah.
was you've gotten one success because it was a success.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we'll say you get one success there for that mini endeavor. So you got two more to get. Uh, how are we approaching the bathrooms here? Are you all together, one at a time?
I'll stand out in front as bodyguard. That way it's not incredibly suspicious.
Got it. They are gender neutral bathrooms, but you can definitely do that and stand out in front. Monmurai, Vesar, just going on in.
I'm following
Yep.
Visar in and kind of taking her lead in all of this.
Okay. So Denethea, for those of you who haven't met Denethea before, is she's tall. She is generally skinny. She has sort of like wavy brown hair. She's Alexis Rose from Schitt's Creek. Okay. And she is sort of standing in front of this mirror, like trying to pull her skirt down, and also like trying to stay upright. So she's like trying to fix herself, and she sees you two come in, and she says, "Oh my gosh, you guys! What are you doing here?" And she runs forward, tippy tappy, tippy tappy, tippy tappy, and hugs both of you.
It's so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you too, Visar. I didn't even know you knew about this place. She's got a flask from her purse, and she takes a drink, and she says, "Isn't it great? Just like all the violence, because like you don't see a lot of violence, and everybody is being so like all the time. We're also sort of like cooped up, and it's great to be free and just like let people just like punch at each other."
So, who's your favorite fighter?
Oh, I don't have a favorite. I don't even know any of their names. Like, I don't cheer for anyone so much as I do like just kind of do drugs until I pass out, and then because the sound is really cool. It's like kind of like ambient noise. Help me sleep is just like crunching, splattering. It's great. What about you? Do you have a pick? Do you have someone you like?
I have not seen too many yet, so I'm still debating. Yeah.
Who gave you an invitation? Because it's really hard to get in.
Oh, I dare not say for.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
And she sort of like leans in, and you can tell she's like hungry. If you'll remember, last time, Denethea was really into Vasar's socialite nature. And so when you start talking about I can't say, that intrigues her a little more. And she leans in a little bit and she's like, you've got to tell me, come on.
I'll just say it's somebody very close to you.
She looks around, as if taking it literally, and then she's like, oh, well, there's lots of people close to me, so that could be anyone. And and hi, lady from the club, hi. And she waves at Monmurai.
Hi, dear. It's nice to see you again.
Okay. Mm-hmm. She says, a little bit rudely, it is.
I just want to say for setting the scene, Monmurai has her hair in one of those very high buns completely pulled back. So all of her elongated features look accentuated, especially in this dingy bathroom light. She's wearing stiletto heels in a latex dress with a fine fur coat. She looks extremely imposing. Yeah, and I'm just standing in the back. Yeah. Like she's very like controlled in the scene. So like when she says hello, she just like slightly nods. She's not like, oh my God, hi. She's just very like just kind of perusing the scene at the moment.
You give her this and she turns her back to Vasar. She's like, she's scary, right? Okay, well, I gotta go back
to the ambiance of all this violence.
She does, doesn't she? I love this pub, this place, because it's so gross. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back and sit with my friends, okay?
Oh, wait. Won't you sit with us? I'd love to chat some more with you.
Oh,
we can discuss maybe another party for you.
All right, I want you to make me a challenge roll here. I'm gonna already give you one potential just for bringing up the idea of having a party for her. She loves that, and you're giving her attention, and you're a socialite. So you've got 1d8 already. Are there other sort of traits you want to use to manipulate her into joining you?
Almost want, oh gosh, I don't know if it'd work, but I have the trait of an acclaimed lover.
Okay.
If that gets her going.
You're acclaimed. Gets around. It does get her going. You remember at the beginning of last episode, she was handcuffed in your basement. So that word has gotten to her just a little bit. And so that would be 2d8 and 1d6. Any other traits you can think of?
How about the cat trait?
The cat trait. Yes. No, the cat does not come into play here. All right. So in that case, 2d8 and 1d6. And we'll see if she can be convinced to join your party.
Oh, we got 2 5s and 1 3. So
oh, that is 2 successes. Good. So she says, oh, yeah, of course I'll come and sit with you. Yeah. Is she coming? And she like gestures at Monmurai, and she's like, or is she going to like lurk it here?
Well, she's with our yeah.
And she walks back to Monmurai, mostly unfazed by your gothy intensity, and like sticks her arm through your arm It's like, come on, I really like your hair. And like starts like dragging Monmurai
I am
back.
going to. Okay. So as she
Yeah.
does this and starts to try and lead me away, I would like to kind of swing her back in front of me, so
Okay.
that she's in front of me, and I want to make direct eye contact with her, and I even want to
Uh-huh.
squat a little bit to become an eye line. I'm going to
Okay.
take my finger
Okay.
and lift her chin just the tiniest bit towards mine and get very, very close to her
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, thank you." And I'm using one of the cards to make her
Yeah.
think fondly about submitting to me.
Excellent.
It is part of my
Okay.
power play theme. It says, spend
Okay.
a shard to make someone think fondly about dominating you or submitting to you. Your choice.
So you tell me again what you say, because your mic broke up just a little bit. So what are
I'm
the
so
words you
sorry.
say to her?
All I say is, I think I like you.
Oh, okay. So you say this to her, and she just like pauses for a moment and like looks back at you, and she says, "I like you too, miss." Like that.
And then I will unlink my arm and walk out of the bathroom so that she's
Uh-huh.
following me.
And she follows you in a very submissive manner, and like almost like she lost herself for a moment. You know, she's kind of like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing this. And Vesar comes behind, bring up the rear. Ruben, they all exit, and you see them approach. And as you lead her around to the other side of the ring, she notices Reveal sitting there. She's like, I didn't even know Reveal was here. And right then, we're going to cut back to the fight, because I want to do another roll to see if Miles can do something to influence this fight in some way. Val, what
Okay.
ideas do you have?
I would like to put a little pressure on my child in the form of encouragement by making a show of putting all my toonies
Okay.
on him.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to make a big public bet, right? Okay.
And even
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So, this is about like showmanship, basically. So your goal here is to project confidence in your son's abilities, and meanwhile he's in the ring, and mostly he's doing a lot of evasion because he's much smaller than this other guy. So he's doing like, whereas this infernal is basically going for power and intimidation, Royce is going for like rat style evasion, right? Where he's like ducking and weaving. So what traits do you have that would apply to this sort of like showmanship?
What about tempting?
Okay,
I'm
because you're tempting
the
other people.
crowd. Yeah.
I like it. I would also argue that because you're an expert in the field of music, that sort of authoritative guide theme could be used here as like, you know what puts on a good show.
Yeah.
You're a front man. Okay. And I would say also that we'll roll over those two from the first one as well. I mean, you're talking about your father figure, right?
Yeah.
And this is your kid, and also that this is a sort of like daddy bear, mama bear situation, right? So in that case, you would roll 1d10 and 2d8s. Keep in mind also that y'all have those d20s, those crits that you can add as a shard to increase one of your rolls by a die. And
you
personal
know what?
shards.
I'm gonna use my gifted one. How's that sound?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so it's 2d10s?
2d10s and 1d8.
All right, let's.
Go,
All right,
Val,
Daddy,
go.
let's do this again.
Clicky clacks.
Clickety clacks.
Yeah.
Magic rocks. Ooh, very nice. I got 110 and 17 and 15.
Excellent. So that is 3 big successes. I'm gonna have to look this up because that might just, I mean, that might do it. He's mostly been ducking and dodging, like I said. He's been trying to evade this guy. But as you sort of place this big bet, just by sheer happenstance, everyone else in the arena sort of takes notice. And not a panic, but sort of a mass excitement breaks out. That they all see you placing this bet and they're like, he knows something. That guy knows something. You know? And they all start running over to make bets. So much so that the Infernal in the ring is distracted for a moment. And Royce takes this lucky swing and punches him right in the windpipe.
Heck yeah.
And like he stops like breathing and like falls to the ground and will not get back up again. So you jump all the way to a successful endeavor there, and Royce wins, although he's left in the ring looking a bit uncomfortable and like, did I win or did my dad win for me? And you get
I'm
double
gonna
your
like
toonies.
stand up,
You know what? You get
stand up on the
quadruple your
chair
toonies.
and
He was
just
a long shot.
yeah.
Excellent. So you win that bet.
And I
You
require it
come away
all
with,
in American pennies now.
you get 2 tons of American
The
pennies.
toonies
No, you
back
just-
for the same value in American pennies.
Right, exactly. So a big personal victory for you and for your kid. Now, the rest of you sort of go and sit in the original spot, and Reveal notices you arrive, but does it in a very calm and cool and collected, sort of like one eyebrow raised sort of way, before she turns back to the fights. I'm gonna say Denethea doesn't sit by Reveal. She sits real close to Monmurai. And just sort of like sits there with you and looks around and the fight's over, and she says to Monmurai, what do we do now?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
What's next? Is there going to be another fight? What, I mean, we can do whatever you want to do, miss.
Well, and I look over to Reveal. Are there any more fights on the schedule tonight?
She says, there's none planned. Well, they did have a third fight. The other contender didn't show up.
Interesting. Well, and I look down towards her and I point towards the group.
Mhm.
And I say, well, why don't you just sit here and hang with us for a little while? See if you
She
enjoy
says-
this type of company in preference to that lot you normally hang out with.
And she just defers, and she like, there is a brief moment of like her inner brattiness still clinging on, and like looks back at like her other friends who are like, I mean, there's nothing appealing going on over there, right? They're just like laughing and being obnoxious. And then she says, okay, miss. And she like sits up with the angels, who all like sort of slide aside to make room for her in their heavenly chorus.
And I'll put my hand on her hand just to give her some reassurance, but I'll look at her very
Yeah.
intently and say, if you want to sit at the big kids' table, you need to learn how to act like a big kid. And then I will
You
give my
can
attention to the rest
see-
of the group
Yeah,
and kind of turn
Yeah.
away from her.
excellent. When you say that to her and you put your hand on her hand, you can see the goosebumps on her arm raise up. And she accepts this, absolutely. And you turn back to the rest of the group. Ariviel looks at all of you, because it was a team effort, and says, "That's good. Very well done. I'm wondering if I can trust the four of you. Can I trust you?" And again, she's not making eye contact. She's talking to the air, but she's obviously speaking to you four.
Definitely.
What? What are we trust? What? Oh,
Oh, sweetie.
Oh, that's
And she
Princess.
rubs
Oh.
Miles's upper thigh again.
Sorry,
And
I
she
was
says,
pleasantly distracted. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you
I
can
saw.
trust me. Sure.
Your son did a good job. No.
I know, right? Imagine what he could do if he was properly trained.
Yeah. She says, I won't be so crude as to say that this was some sort of a test. But if it was, you all would have succeeded with flying colors. We'll make something out of Denethea yet, although, and she, like, turns ever so slightly to Monmurai, almost like the first time she's acknowledged someone else, you know, and she says, although she does seem to have a soft spot for you. So, I don't know, maybe we'll need your help in the future. She says, I am looking for, ambassadors, I suppose. And given your rank and your authority within the region, the four of you would be ideal candidates to go on a trip for me. Would you be interested in making a call to one of the other provinces?
Which one?
Don't think about it too hard. North Bank Mills. All of you know, without any sort of role or anything like that, that between these regions, between these provinces like Bridgewood, North Bank Mills, there are a number of differences because they're all ruled by different princeps. So this one is outside of the princeps here, outside of her purview. But they also just, it ends up being like there are very different ways of doing things. North Bank Mills, in particular, you know by reputation as a kind of place where the striation between people and the people they rule over is a lot harsher. It is a lot less like, oh, you're my court and I care for you, and more like, oh, you're my court and so you wear a leather collar sort of stuff. Yeah, cat, you said it. Meow.
Yay!
So, you know that this is you know, a place with that kind of vibe to it. Let me see if I can give you any more information that you would know already. You know that North Bank Mills is ruled by a princeps named Roland Dawn. He is an iron-fisted ruler, more or less. He expects sacrifices on behalf of the people to assist rulers in their revelries, which power the Sephiroth that protect the area. You also know for a fact that his eldest son was married to the Princepsa Amathea before he died, you remember. That was his eldest son. He has another one as well. Those are the thoughts that pew, pew, come to mind. Yeah, I'll give you all these deeds. So, again, North Bank Mills ruled over by Roland Dawn, and a bit of a harsher environment, so to speak. And so she says, well, it's important work. I mean, you would all agree that the Princepsa needs a suitable partner, yes?
Definitely,
I would
yes.
volunteer myself. I would volunteer myself, but she's not so interested in women. So I'm trying to find her a husband, and quickly.
May I ask a personal question, personal towards to Amathea specifically?
The Princepsa. I can't promise I'll answer, but yes, of course.
That's fine.
Cat invasion. Meow, meow, meow.
Uh,
Go ahead, Ruben.
does she even care about being remarried?
Care. It's difficult. Semantics, of course. I'm sure she would be happier with the right partner. Um, as far as her inner feelings, well, that's not really the business of politics, is it? You all know as much as anyone that we're married to whom we're married, and not everyone, and she looks at all four of you in turn this time, directly. Not everyone is so fortunate as the four of you to marry people they actually care about. I mean, this new law must be trying on each of your households, no?
Very much so.
Well, I suspect that if you would not like more laws of this nature that are built upon a foundation of grief and despair, that we do our best to find her a suitable partner, no?
That does seem wise.
So, you want
Yes,
us to
sweetie.
play matchmaker?
Oh, I've made the match. I have someone in mind. It's the younger brother of the late Princeps consort. There's another Dawn. Yes, I said it. He is... He is a good man, I suppose. But you should go and see it for yourself. I want your honest judgment upon this Dawn family. Need to know
And,
if he would take good care of her, make her happy.
And what do we receive in return? You know that asking somebody of my household does not come without a price.
A slow smile stretches across her face. And she says, "No, of course. Well, what do you need? Favors?
I'm
Money?"
merely interested. I'm just interested to see what you have to offer first before asking what I would like.
Well, of course. As you know, being the first ward means that the Princepsa values my opinion highly. She trusts me with all of her personal affairs. If, God forbid, something happened to her, I would take over in her place. I mean, take your pick, sweetheart. Anything you need.
And she takes her hand off of Denethea and gives a reveal her chin very respectively and crosses her leg and just kind of puts her business
Denethea
posture on.
exhaled for the first time in about 10 minutes.
Perfect. And she looks her in the eye with respect and says, I have started a project within my holding. I'm having a little bit of trouble. I see from the looks of it here that you have this whole secretive underground room thing figured out. You help me finish my secret back area to my speakeasy, and I will be of your assistance.
Oh, let's see. Well, I do have several people in my employ who are skilled at keeping things concealed, especially back area. Yes, um, yes, I'll do this. What about the rest of you? What do you want? Not you, Miles. I know what you want. She rubs your leg some more.
Kind of at this point, Miles is actually going to put his hand between hers and his leg and just hold it up and like give it a kiss and just hold it so that his line is no longer crossed. He's done playing along.
Nice, interesting. Okay. She sort of sees this, and whether or not she understands that's what you're doing, she says, "Oh, what a gentleman." Says, "Yes, of course." And Miles, yes, as I said, I know what you want. Talk to the bartender on your way out, okay?
Yeah, sure.
And Visar,
Goodness.
that party I attended at your house was fun. Wasn't particularly popular.
Yes, I was thinking that once things are settled down and the Princepsa is happily married again, that mayhap the most recent law could be rescinded.
Ah. Well, that, of course, would be nice for everyone. Something like that would be out of my immediate influence, but
Understandable.
let's see if Visar can make a roll here. I'd like to know how you approach this. I didn't ask for rolls. The other stuff was kind of easy. This
Yeah.
is a task. So, what is Visar? What do you have in your bag of tricks that would help you influence Reveal's opinion?
I have a couple traits that would work. I'm looking at shard things. I mean, I do have the regal form and the glare, but I don't know if that would apply here, really.
Sure, I think those both apply. You are regal,
Yeah.
so you basically demand respect just being yourself. The glare, I'm not sure. What kind of glare do you have? What's the descriptor for it?
Powerful.
Okay. Well, power can be thought of in different ways. So yeah, I would say that works. You're not trying to insult her. You're just trying to show your power, right? And you're that you deserve
That's true.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. Anything else? You're happy. You're free to go along with 2d8 and 1d6. You could spend that crit to go 3d8 if you'd like, or if you have a question. We saw Monmurai use her special ability earlier. So you could use a shard to unlock a special ability or ask a question to get information.
There's the question, what interesting rumors have I heard about them? Have I heard any rumors about Irivio?
About her.
Yeah.
Let me
that I could
find
use.
out. Roll me one of those d10s. This is not your challenge roll, but roll me one of those d10s and tell me what number comes up.
A 5.
Okay. Let's see. You can hear me okay, right? Bumped my mic. I want to make sure everything's fine. Okay. You rolled a 5. Right? Let me look. look at some of everyone in this game, and Val, this is good for you to know too. Everyone has secrets. They have different kinds of secrets that will help you influence them, that you can call into play. I just gotta find out what a revius it is. Okay. A reveal has a weakness. And you've heard rumors that as calm and collected as she is, the one thing that she has this silly weakness for is chocolate. And that when she's presented with the option of good chocolate, she has trouble saying no to almost anything.
Excellent.
So you know this. If you can work it into this role somehow, we could increase your odds of success.
You know, I was thinking that, it is rather warm in here, and I'm concerned about this treat that I had in my bag here.
Both of her eyebrows pop up, and she says, "Treat?"
I pull out those nice thick bars of
Real nice one.
whatever fancy chocolate. I don't know. I do Hershey's.
Switzerland. Yeah, for sure. And she says that, and she's like, is and she, like, you see her eyes, she's like, my blood sugar's a little bit low. And here, while she's distracted by this chocolate bar, how about you roll 3d8 and tell me how you do?
6, a 5, and a 2.
So 2 successes. She snatches kind of at the chocolate bar a little bit rudely, and then collects herself and says, "Okay, all right, fine. How about a trade then? I'll do everything within my power to rescind this law, assuming that we find her an acceptable mate. Deal?"
Sounds good to me, yes.
And do you hand her the chocolate bar?
Definitely.
Okay, she takes it and unwraps it
It's
immediately.
only going to melt if I hang on to it, so.
Oh yes, of course. And she starts eating it, and then remembers that there was something else going on. She's like, "Oh, Ruben. What did you want in return?"
Well, we're working on a bit of a project with the railway. So you, Doc, can remind me, Amathea's son, he is her bodyguard. Does he also have any influence over the matter of... Yeah. Does he also have any, does he personally have any sway over any police force or,
he as
anything equivalent?
as the champion, she is Amathea's champion, or he is Amathea's champion, and so he would definitely have some sort of influence over public security, law enforcement, things like that.
Okay. In that case, as Ruben would like to ask that, we're working on establishing grounds for different stations for the railway, so I would like at least a bit of insurance of security and protection as it goes on. Not everyone's going to be interested in having something that connects every part of our districts.
Do you expect opposition? Have you heard anything about people wanting to stop this project from happening? I'm just asking out of curiosity. Chocolate.
Personally, no. Personally,
well,
no. But I also never expected the defenses of hell itself to get busted open, so it doesn't hurt to be safe.
Fair enough. Oh, although that was turned out well for you in the end, I suppose. Um, all right. Good. In that case, you shall have all the security you need to make sure your project goes forward. And for you, Ruben, that means an extra check on your endeavor sheet as you move towards you move towards public transportation. How far along are you on your public transportation goal? Oh, you're muted. Sorry, I didn't hear.
I have 5 checks right now because I got one at the end
You
of
are
the
cruising.
last session.
You're making contacts. That's terrific. She says, very well. But of course, she says, on that note, you'll have to leave in a few days to head to North Bank Mills. I'll arrange for a private car for each of you. And again, if I have to repeat myself, well, it's silly to say mission, isn't it? But I'd like you to get a feeling, check North Bank Mills, see if all the rumors are true. I'd like you to learn more about Mr. Raymond Dawn, who is the youngest Dawn's son, to determine if he would be a good match for the Princepsa. And now, I can't stress this enough, she says. I'm looking for the truth here. I'm not looking for flattery. I'm not looking for yes people. I'm looking to make the Princepsa happy. Understood? All right. Look, then we have our foursome. Wonderful. And with that, the fights have ended. The crowd has been filtering out. Denethea leaves with Iraviel and the other wards, though she does make a few fleeting, longing glances at Monmurai as she leaves. And also at Vessar. She likes Vessar a lot, too. So, for now, she is firmly in both of your pockets. And she smiles as you blow her a kiss goodbye. As you're leaving, Miles, you gonna stop by that bartender? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop by the bartender. I'm gonna put 10 toonies on the bar as tip. And
Excellent.
it'd be like, I was told to stop by.
Wonderful. He says, oh, yeah. Heard about you. One sec. And he reaches down below the bar and he pulls out a metal lockbox. And he says, you know, most of these were lost when the apocalypse started. You can see now that he's an infernal. His scars are throbbing a little bit at the emotion of this moment. And he opens the box and pulls out a perfectly preserved CD copy of the soundtrack to the movie City of Angels.
Sus.
You gotta take good care of this, you understand? It's real important.
It's the most important soundtrack ever.
And you all head off back to your holdings for the evening, parting ways, agreeing to reunite in a few days to make a trip to North Bank Mills. And, yeah. As you each arrive home, we've met Monmurai's spouse and Vessar's spouse, but Ruben and Miles, your partners, are waiting for you. For everyone at home, what kind of interaction do you each have with your partners as you get home? Ruben, who's waiting for you?
For Ruben, that would be his husband, Caleb, is most likely waiting for him to get back.
Okay. And describe Caleb for us.
Oh boy. I'll say about 5'8", 5'9".
It's good height.
Ruben went with his heart, rather than his head on who to marry. And so Caleb himself is a little more heavy set and more of a previously lowborn. So he kind of
Also a good body shape to be. Good.
kind of
So far.
yeah, I would say in terms of dress, Caleb likes to stay relatively casual, doesn't go for anything that is like embodies the lifestyle of being married to a noble of any sort. Um, but in that regard, I think Ruben just gets home, takes his shoes off,
Mhm.
and just immediately like goes over and just rests his entire body weight onto. Like, they're both standing up, so he just kind of like just lets Caleb try to like hold him up as best he can.
I love it. That's great. And they talk about the events of the day together, but I love that first look at Caleb and welcoming Ruben home. Miles, you get back to the cathedral, which is also in parts your home. You probably sleep in some tucked away part like the vestry or something like that, that's been
Mhm.
repurposed into a sleeping thing upstairs, right? And
Like an apartment
tell me about
upstairs.
Miles' spouse. Yeah. Tell me
So
about Miles'
Hazel,
partner, what she's like.
yeah, Hazel, she is also an angel. She's taller than him and probably has about like 45 pounds more than him because Miles weighs like 115 wet. Um, so she's got just like this thick red hair that kind of grows out before it grows down, sort of thing. So it comes out to here, but also is like towards like the right beneath her rib cage. And like Miles, she has her eyes are more on the greener side, like they're kind of like a golden green color, but also like Miles, like the pupils are just sort of a darker hue of her irises, and she would she's a very subtle person in mannerisms compared to him. Um, and he would like saunter over as he gets in, just talking up a storm about like the night and everything that happened, and just not breathing as he talks. Kisses her on the cheek, waits to see if she'll kiss him back, because Miles loves his wife. His wife likes Miles.
And we won't even find out the answer. I think there's just like we sort of leave in that sort of awkward pause that is. Miles is so happy and carefree and such a confident character that I like ending on this tiny little bit of weakness in his life. So, the final part of our show today is what we call the epilogue. Now, what we do is, at the end of each episode, we're going to ask some questions of each character. And for each question, it's going to affect your house's standing. Also the standing of the province. You can also reduce any afflictions from your character. So I think that we had one floating around, but that's gone. So everybody should be okay now. By and large, you had a very successful day. So here are the questions. And we'll go around, we'll just do them real quick, and we'll decide whether we had a day that advances your house forward. First question is, for the sake of the province, the place you live, and the Princepsa, who you serve, would you say you've done right by your province and your Princepsa? Let's go around. If you say yes, give me a thumbs up. If you say no, give me a thumbs down. Yes, yes, no. Okay. No. All right. What we're going to do then is we're going to split that one. There's no advance there for the province itself. The province doesn't advance in standing. It's still in a bit of turmoil, and the Princepsa has not had her problem solved. Although there's seeds for a potential success in the future. For each of you, you each have a house and bloodline that has a creed to it and ideals. So make sure that you have those in front of you. Because the question is, have you stayed true to your bloodline's creed or ideals? If you answer yes, your house standing increases by 1. If not, it stays where it is. I would say, Monmurai, what is your house's creed? Monmurai.
Mine is claim your due. And specifically because I always need something in terms for my service or me doing for something else. So I would say yes.
What about someone else? Someone else want to tell me their creed or ideal that they have in their bloodline?
Mine is the weaker shall bow to your desires.
I would say that's a yes for you. Even
Yeah.
if you just think of Denethea as the one who's got some weakness to her. Yeah, I would agree. And also the chocolate.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
get +1 to your house's standing as well. And the rest of you, either it moves forward or it stays the same. And if we need to talk about that between sessions, we can.
Mine is, you shall not dim the flames of your passion.
Interesting. Do you think that's a success for you? I mean, you got the CD.
I definitely think. I got the CD.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that my passion is definitely has been, yeah.
I love this fiction about
Flames.
Miles. The Goo Goo Dolls thing. Great. Ruben, did you want to share yours, or should we move on?
My house creed is rejoice, and I feel like I haven't quite done that yet.
Okay. Good call. Yeah. Next. Have you fulfilled your royal duties to the full extent? That means both leading your court and serving the Princeps. It was mostly a personal time this week, yeah. You didn't interact with your courts very much. I would say Miles attempted, but it didn't end up the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll revisit that next episode. The next one. Have you done anything notable to support the principles or the commandments? And for those of you who don't remember what they are, I'm going to put these out there. The principles of the domain are: the Defiant stand against the apocalypse. The lives of all Defiant are sacred. The Hierophant is the highest authority. The decisions of the Archons are irrefutable. The Executors are the voice of the Hierophant. The Princepsas govern their provinces, and the royalty is entrusted with their courts. I would argue that y'all kind of broke the law today. In this underground fight club, and also going behind the Princepsa's back. So I would say no to that one, unless someone wants to debate that with me. All right. The final question. Have your actions give you popularity and fame throughout the domain? I think thumbs up all around on that one is my vote. You are popular with probably someone who is the second most important person in the province. And so in that case, each of you gets a +1 either to both your province standing and your house standing. All right. Next time, we are going to take a trip to North Bank Mills. We are going to a different province to see how they live life there. We are trying to find a partner, a spouse for the Princepsa at the bequest of her first ward. How that goes will be interesting, but all 4 of you will be making your way there for a field trip, which sounds like fun. All right, I think that's all the time we have because we've got to get ready for this next show that's coming up in 15 minutes. let's see. Oh yeah, once again, about this next thing, everybody stick around. We're going to have a first look at the new expansion system for the Black Void system, the new expansion stuff, and our friend Kalonomicon is going to be hosting a discussion with the creator of that system. It's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody please stick around and tell Colin that we all said hi. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for sticking around to the end. Please give us a thumbs up and write something in the comments below so other people know that this is a fun show to watch. Even though we're done and we hit our first retweet goal, keep on spreading the word and retweeting stuff about all the lovely shows on Encounter Roleplay. We put them on because we love telling stories and playing games with awesome people, and we hope that people enjoy watching it. Don't forget to spread your clips of the week and stuff like that. Let's go around the circle. We're going to check in with each person. I'd love to hear how today was for you, what your name is, where we can find you on the internet, other things that you have going on, promo your shiz, anything that you want to talk about. And we will start with our new favorite, Angel Himbo, Miles, who at first I thought was Tommy Lee and then turned into Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls in my brain as the show went on.
You know what?
I mean, what? It could be worse.
Yes. Yeah,
Val,
no, he could.
who are you?
He's just, yeah. Hey everyone.
I can't wait to find out more, Miles.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back on Encounter Roleplay. You can find me both on Twitch and Twitter as Valdranth. This lovely, it's a combination of my government name, and when I was 14, I was really obsessed with Dragon Riders of Pern, and that's what happened. So that's, and it's stuck the past 20 years. You can find me there. I am a producer of TTRPG content on my channel for myself and my friends. So the next time we're on is tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST with some Emberwind. And we have a huge giveaway of all of the current players' handbooks and vignettes. It's a big giveaway. So if you're interested in getting some free stuff, come and hang out tomorrow with us.
Awesome. Dal, I'm so glad you could be here and you're a part of this group this week. If for no other reason than just for Miles and his goofiness. I love him. Let's go down. Let's go down to Hull and Bubbly Cream Soda. Hull, who are you? Where can we find you? What else are you doing? What's up?
Hi, I'm Hull. You can mostly find me on Twitter at Bubbly Cream Soda. It just says it right up there. I mostly just draw and retweet stuff on occasion there. I try to stay away from social media. It's been a year specifically, but it's a lot to just be on there for more than maybe 30 minutes at a time. So, in terms of activity, I'm mostly just here on this program every Friday, I guess. So keep
we'll
tuning
take
in.
it. That's what we'll do. We'll take it for now. But if anybody else is playing role-playing games, like, you should talk to Val and apply for a show on hers channel, and play there, because you're terrific and we love having you here. Let's go over to Cadence and her cat, and their cat. And Cadence, what's going on? Who are you? Where can we find you?
I am apparently the mother of cats. I'm Cadence Magdalene Bloom on Twitter, and since Val told about hers, mine was actually a Renaissance Fair character that I played for many years, and so I just use her name for everything because then it's easy to remember for me. Yes, I love my Irish girl.
What else do you have going on?
I have Vampire the Masquerade Tuesday nights with Party Wipe Games. Job interview on Wednesday. Please, everybody send me good vibrations. Other than that, surviving.
Yeah.
Surviving the apocalypse.
I hear you. Ray with a brick. Everyone's favorite Morticia Adams vampire.
Yeah,
just killing it today.
basically. Hi everyone. I'm Ray, or with the brick, wherever it is up here. I'm a role player and a Twitch variety streamer. So if you like watching me do this here, come check out my channel where I play games and yell at my chat because they're difficult. But besides that, yeah, I'm working on some really fun writing projects and things like that. So keep an eye out. I might be running some things again soon.
Fun.
That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you to chat for being here through this whole thing and for being amazing. There was a lot of activity. I bounced in when I could, when I had the brain cells for it, but we really appreciate you being here. One more time, please stick around after this for our special first look at the new Black Void system. I am Doc Brimbo. Boom. I'm Doc Brimbo on the internet, every place, on Twitter. I'm on twitch.tv/DocRimbo, where I stream variety stuff, which is mostly just wild RP and playing imaginary cowboy games on the internet with the best people, which Ray is doing now too, because she got suckered into it. And I am streaming that mostly Wednesdays and Thursdays, but I'm always around on other people's streams, just having a blast and having the most fun. I'm also in a new campaign of Cult Divinity Lost called Gordian Systems, which is going to be a rotating cast and a rotating schedule. So there's no telling when it will be, but it will be on the Cult Divinity Lost channel. Their premiere is tomorrow. I won't be there tomorrow, but everyone check that out. It is creepy supernatural horror, and this time it's based in outer space. So I'm looking forward to watching that and catching up and introducing my character as well. And of course, I'm here every Friday. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Encounter Roleplay. Thank you to all the people pulling strings behind the scenes. If you have something for you to, I don't know what Lydia's saying in chat. Lydia, what are you talking about? I don't know. Check us out. Check this video out on YouTube. Share it with everybody. Join our Discord. Thank you to all of our sponsors one last time, especially the folks who created the Defiant system. We have a blast playing it every week. Everyone stay here. In just a few minutes, we're going to jump over to Black Void and Colonomicon. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye. Awkward goodbye.